Hello friends, welcome back to my channel. How are you doing all? I hope you are doing well, staying healthy, enjoying life, and must be planning to improve your life. Here we are to do so. Here daily we read a chapter of a novel to improve or develop reading habit to improve our English, including reading, writing, speaking, vocabulary at the same time, enhancing our knowledge. As we know, reading is the best practice to develop all these things, which help us in many ways. And reading could be one of the good hobby to make a change in our life. As we have heard from many prominent personalities that books change their life, add values, widen their knowledge. We can live other life by reading a book and get all those experience and learn from their mistake. So why to commit same mistake if we can learn from them and improve our life? So join me in this journey to become best version of ourselves. Before starting, I would love to hear your thought in comment section. Remember to like, share with your loved one to change their life as well, and don't forget to subscribe my channel. Press the bell icon for daily updates. Today we are going to deal with part 25 of this novel, that is Your Dreams At Mine Now, that is written by Ravinder Singh. So let's see that what is there for us. And we have almost covered all the part of this novel. Now we are at the same point where we have started, that how this all started. We read in the first part. We are again back to prepare. We are again back at that page because all this novel started at from this point. So let's see that how this all incident happened. We have already known, so we will see that what happened next. So let's read and see more deep in this chapter and in this part, that how that day protest take place, and after that what happened.
25, 24 hours later. The patient was brought in unconscious. The initial tests have confirmed rape. Plus, she had gruesome injuries. The idea was to leave her unrecognizable so she wouldn't be able to give a statement if she survived. She had a fractured skull and sustained severe head injuries that led to blood clotting in her brain. It appeared she had been hit on the head by either a brick or something heavy. There is also a possibility that someone smashed an alcohol bottle over her head. Looks like the men who raped her had been drinking. After raping her, they tried to kill her. Under the influence of alcohol, they wouldn't have been able to make out if she was dead or not. Either way, they left her to die. She hadn't succumbed to her injuries. But she couldn't be called alive either. The barbarity of the crime has shocked us. The patient suffered very deep cuts on her left breast and both her thighs. This led to significant blood loss from her body. But worst of all were the cuts on and around her private parts that have been disfigured beyond imagination. It appears they stabbed her more than once there. As part of the first surgery, several tiny pieces of glass have been pulled out of her private parts. More surgeries may be performed, but only when her condition stabilizes. In addition, one more round of surgery has been performed to treat her head injury. So far, the patient hasn't responded to it. Even after 16 hours, her condition is unstable and very critical. The patient continues to be unconscious and nothing can be said unless she regains consciousness. On two occasions, for a couple of seconds, her body showed some movements in distress. Those were a result of the trauma that her brain continues to be in. 3 units of blood have already been transfused and 2 more units are scheduled for the day. That's all the team of doctors had to say. After the brief from the medical team that had gathered for the press conference was over, it was the turn of the police commissioner of Delhi to update the media on the progress of the case. A few men from the slum near where this crime took place happened to discover the victim when they were trying to take a shortcut to their homes. Seeing her, they immediately called 100. And fear was lodged on the very night the victim was brought to the hospital. Prima facie, it's a case of rape and attempt to murder. No eyewitness has turned up so far. But the same men who called us told us about seeing a white van speeding away on the road nearby, moments before they stepped inside the dilapidated building. They said it was the only vehicle on that abandoned road and the driver was driving rashly. During our initial investigation, one boy talked about having seen a white van, around the time of the girl's disappearance, suddenly stopping on the roads of North Campus and pulling a girl in. From a distance, he could not notice the vehicle number. He couldn't even confirm if that was a prank or an actual abduction. This is the same road where the victim was supposedly on as per her close friends. Right now, CCTV footage in and around North Campus is being scanned to trace this white van. There is a strong chance that this van is the same as the one the slum dwellers had seen. The moment the registration number of this vehicle is obtained, there won't be any delay in nabbing the perpetrators of this crime. The team of doctors at AIIMS and the Delhi police took some questions from the media that had gathered, after which the press conference got adjourned. In the next few hours, the brutal and heinous gang rape of a Dew girl had become breaking news in the national media. And in those stories, Rupali, who was still a living being, lost her identity. In the medical vocabulary, she became a patient. In the terminology of law and order, she became a victim. In the language of the media, she was a rape survivor. And unfortunately, for a large part of India, she had become impure, an impurity that could not be undone by any means. A stigma was now attached, embedded in her, and had become a part of her existence, even though she had never wanted it. Even though she had resisted it. Unfortunately, she would have to live with it, if she survived. And so that the extent of her ignominy could be minimized, she was robbed of her own identity, of her real name in those media stories. The horror of this monstrous crime caught people's attention. It shook their conscience in a way that they not only condemned it, but also wanted to do something about it. It made their blood boil in a manner that had never happened in the past. It invited outrage from across the country. It made way for a million voices that further led to an uproar across the length and breadth of the country. People questioned the law and order in the country and especially in the national capital. There were angry discussions on what the society had become. And then there were prayers for the girl who was struggling between life and death.